years old. Watched my father use it on a man who thought he was bold enough to steal from the family, from the business, from the code. Learn that steel don't care about the size of the load you carry in your heart, in your chest, in your soul. The blade don't ask permission, it just takes control of the situation, of the breath, of the final beat. I learned that lesson early, I learned it on the street. Now the knife is a scar, the blade is a 7.62, but the principle remains the same. The steel still rings true, through the flesh, through the bone, through the lies they tell. The acero don't care if you're headed to heaven or hell. Watch the man realize he's already dead. The moment between the trigger and the sound reaching his head, when his brain knows the bullet is already in the air, but his body hasn't felt it yet, hasn't started the despair of knowing that the last breath is already on its way. I've seen that look 100 times, I see it every day. In my dreams, in my waking, in the mirror when I'm alone. The sangre on my hands is something I could never atone for. Not that I would try, not that I would care. The sangre is the only thing that lets me know I'm there. Still breathing, still moving, still part of the game. The acero y sangre flow, the acero y sangre remain. True character shows in how he dies. I've seen 100 men depart through 30 different eyes. Some beg, some cry, some try to bargain with the steel. Some accept it with the calm that seems almost unreal, like they've been waiting for the moment their whole life. The acero finally ending all the inner strife. The sangre pooling underneath, a mirror for the soul. I've seen it all, I've done it all, I've played every role. From the one who pulls the trigger to the one who digs the hole. The acero y sangre business, that's the only thing I know. Time I used a rifle, I was barely 14, a 22 Magnum. A target on a screen, but the screen was real. The target breathed, the target had a name. I watched him through the scope and felt nothing but the aim. The crosshairs on his temple, the slack taken from the trigger. I wondered if his mother loved him, if he made his family bigger. By existing, by breathing, by taking up space. Then I squeezed and watched the sangre paint the whole place. Red, violent, permit, a mural of the end. The acero in my hands and made a mother lose a friend, a son, a brother, a father, a man. I felt nothing but the cold, the steel, the plan. They ask me if I feel remorse, if I regret the life. I tell them that's a question for a man with a wife and children and a future and a hope for something more. I got the acero y sangre, I got the war inside me, outside me, everywhere I turn. The sangre is the only lesson I will ever learn. The steel is the only teacher, the only friend I've known. The acero y sangre took me in when I was alone and gave me purpose, gave me meaning, gave me a place in the order of the violence, in the killing race. Right in the eye, he was young, maybe 22, didn't even try to run, to fight, to beg, to plead. He just stood there and accepted the inevitable deed. I asked him why he didn't run, why he didn't move. He said we all die, sometimes nothing to prove. I put the 40 to his head and watched him smile, then pulled the trigger, watched the sangre pile on the ground behind him, watched the light go out. I stood there for a minute, full of doubt. For the first time in years I felt something inside. Then I walked away and let the darkness hide. Sangre life is not for everyone. It's not for those who love the warmth of the sun on their skin, in their hearts and their innocent dreams. It's for the ones who live in the darkness, in the streams of blood that flow through the gutters of the world. It's for the ones who've had their innocence hurled into the abyss before they could even speak. The acero y sangre makes the strong, breaks the weak. I've seen men go insane from the things they've done. I've seen men kill themselves with a single gun, the same one they used to collect all the debts. I've seen men crumble under all the regrets, but I've also seen the ones who rise above the pain, the ones who let the acero y sangre flow through every vein, the ones who understand that this is just the way that some of us survive and some of us stay in the game, in the life, in the never-ending fight. The acero y sangre burning through the night.